In this video, we're going to be transforming this little animation to be 10x better, just like how you guys are seeing. How? By using certain elements that can make it 10x better. Things like effects, things like backgrounds, push rest time, and etc. So the aim of this video is that I'm going to walk you guys through the animation that I did in the last video to now having an animation that stands out and is better than any other editor that you will see. Now, if you guys didn't know already, this video is the last video from the animation mastery bootcamp. We walked all the way from day 1, where we do an animation of a still design, to day 2, 3, and 4, where we get the idea, design it, and then animate it, and now to achieving short form mastery through the last 2 videos where we covered camera and camera animations and the short form edit. And then in this edit, we're going to be covering the last fundamentals of it all, is when you have an animation, when you have executed your idea, how can you make this animation stand out? Now, if you guys didn't know already, I launched a new program called Editors League, where I help you achieve mastery, client acquisition, edit just like the masters, infinite feedback, constant updates, like-minded community, and the list goes on. This is only 20% of it. But why am I mentioning this? Because today is the last time I ever put the Black Friday offer on. This whole bootcamp, there was a Black Friday offer, and this is the last time I announce it. There is only 2 days remaining, guys, to the end of the month. After it, the price increases because Black Friday would have finished. So meanwhile, the price is still at $37. I suggest you guys get in and don't waste your time, because it is actually the next best move for you. So yeah, if you guys want to enter Editors League, the best community, at a discounted price, click on the first link in the description. Now, if you check the second link in the description, that's a Google Drive link where I link the project file to the last video, and you can follow the progress of this video. So you can practically be doing while I'm explaining. So yeah, with that being said, let's dive in right into After Effects. Now guys, this is what we have in After Effects. As you guys can see, this is what we edited with in the last video, right? And what I'm gonna do first things is just move this so it's on the left side. And now we have this in a manner like this, and I'm just gonna adjust all of this. Cool. We can even make a preset, by the way, like a new workspace. Save as a new workspace, go over here and make it short form panel. All right, so this is gonna be our permanent short form panel. Anyways, first things first, the text over here looks awful. So what we want to do is maybe optimize it. So I'm just gonna add like a font called New Has. All right, and I'm gonna take this down a little bit, and pretty much let's make it white. While I make it white, I will add a bit of effects to it. So let's improve this text. How can we? It doesn't need to be that complex at all, like in terms of text and whatever. It can be very simple, boys. So first things first is deep glow, obviously my favorite effect, and just decrease the deep glow settings. Okay, when you're doing the deep glow settings, by the way, don't follow my settings, because my deep glow setting, my deep glow is, I don't know, the wrong one. So everyone has like different deep glow settings. Just look at over here and see how much I do it and try to copy. And what I always aim for is more radius, all right, and less exposure. So you can see the more the exposure, the worse it becomes. So I aim for less exposure, something around this. Now this automatically makes it look a lot better. Now one thing I can do, all right, is let's say I want to make the text gray, a little bit grayish, and I'll tell you guys why. I'll add an effect called CC Light Sweep, and once I add CC Light Sweep, you guys can see we have this certain thing, but this has to be above the deep glow. All right, and can you guys look at what we have over here? You see, this is what CC Light Sweep does. So it adds a bit of like nice whiteness. So I'm gonna add it over here, the CC Light Sweep, make it in the middle, and I'm just gonna increase the width so that it covers a lot of the text. And look, this is how it is without CC Light Sweep. This is how it is with CC Light Sweep. So it creates a very unnoticeable, this kind of sweep effect, and I love it. Actually, I love it. What we can do is, if you guys even want to change the color, like make it a different color, then you can. So it would have like a bit of a color. I can go maybe for this yellowish theme, but I don't know if it looks that good, to be honest. It's not my vibe completely. So I'll just set it white, keep it white. And so we have this certain text. And let's say, because this text is still, we can animate it. So I will animate it, go to position over here, all right, and pretty much just bring it from down. with the range selector. And I already covered how range selectors work in the previous video, so I'm not gonna cover it again. I'm just gonna go to advanced, make it word so that it is animated word by word. Come up over here, make it ramp up. Okay, make it ramp up. And now I'll keyframe the offset from -100 to be 100 by this part. And now with the position, I would even do opacity and make the opacity 0. So basically our text will pop up like this, the aesthetics, you see? The way it pops up, it will pop up like this. Very nice. I think it can be faster, so I will make the ease low 100. And I even covered this in the first video, by the way, how this works. So you guys can see now, it looks really nice. It just pops up really clean. And then we have this. All right, we have this. Over here, we can do a certain effect. We can do a certain things just to improve the scene, right? So this pops up over here. I feel like we can make a connection between these two in like a certain way. So what I will do is before I make the connection, whatever, I kind of want to emphasize on this text a little bit more because I feel like it's blending in rather than being emphasized. So what I'm going to do, okay, by the way, this is completely random, like not from how the actual creator did it. What I'm going to do is switch it to a different font. And this font is called Far From Homecoming. And this is how it kind of looks. And I will just disable. I don't know why this is happening. Really weird. This shouldn't be happening. But I think it's probably a bug, a preview bug. Don't worry. But yeah, simple and clean looking video. So this immediately adds more emphasis on our text. And what I will do, for example, is add a little bit of a scribble effect on this one. So I'll bring up like a, let's say, an overlay that is called scribble underline, and this will be linked to you guys. And this scribble, let's change its color. First thing, I will add gradient ramp. So gradient ramp, once we add that, you guys can see already add some stuff. I'll make this below our text that says simple looking video, so it goes below. And what I will do is I'll make this 3D, but now you can see the position fucked up. So basically what we need to do is go here to the transform and just copy and paste it so that it is in the exact same place as to how this will be. You can see kinda it came, and I just need to scale it up now. Once I scale it up, I can move it peacefully, but certain things are kind of messed up. Yeah, basically I will just adjust this so that it goes behind. As you guys can see, simple and clean looking video, and then we have this little scribble effect. So these small things I usually add in the middle. Like I don't do it at the starting of the video or whatever. Like I just get ideas on how do I make my scene better. So yeah, I'm gonna take my thingy, my little gradient ramp, set it over here, and then the other one I'll just set it above maybe. So this thing, because the theme that we're going for, let's say, is this theme. Okay, I'm just gonna go for this theme. You always need to know the theme that you're gonna go for. Like, what is the theme? So I'll do this, and so now it stands out. And what I'll do is I'll push this because this has an auto effect, like where it reveals. And so look, it will play the video. You guys can see, and then, but there is one thing, is that the position of this certain thing is way different. It's like behind. If we just view it in 2 views. So to do that, I'll expand this, do 2 views, and you guys can see it is not in the position that it should be. So what I gotta do is do an effect called Control Alt Home, Control Home. So it will bring it to the front of the screen, and now pretty much I can adjust its position in a certain way. So adjust its position. It's not gonna be exact. It's not gonna be exact, as you guys can see. It will not be exact, but it will still be close enough. All right. So don't worry too much. Don't need to. So you can see it's now it's very similar. It's actually really nice. It's looking really great. Just the way it comes up, and it shows like the emphasis on that thing, you know. So we have this scene that comes up like this, goes up like this. Already we have a scene that looks way better than it was like 5 minutes ago. All right. So we added this, and now let's think like what else can we add? Just what are elements that we can add? One thing I see is maybe we can add a line behind these two, but I don't want it to be so overwhelming like the scene that we have, right? So I might not. One thing I might do though is maybe add a bit of like that kind of wiggly effect on this our work text. So I'll go, for example, to, let's say, to rotation. Okay, and once I go to rotation, I will add a selector called wiggly. So now you guys can see what wiggly will do. All right, if I put this in focus mode, it basically wiggles it. It wiggles it as with how much position or rotation we do. So there is a very less wiggle of, for example, 5, and then I can even add another property which can be position, so it can go a little bit up and down as well. So this is what wiggly will do. It's very, like, let's say, not noticeable, but that's the whole point of things. Like, edits should not necessarily be possible. What we can adjust is a bit of settings from here. For example, how many wiggles per speed. I'll just make it less, maybe 5. And you guys can see sometimes you guys will see shaky wiggle effects. It's wiped. Then you will see people like they will have a high wiggle speed, but then they will add an effect called push rise time, and it will be like 3, and so it will look shaky. This is if you're going for Ali Abdal type vibe, but anyways, I'm gonna have this on 10. It's almost not even gonna be viewable, but that's the whole point. Anyways, we also gotta add deep glow on this text. Okay, make it 0.3 and required for text turn on. We gotta do the same, by the way, for these as well. So pull up over here, go to the Scribble, add a bit of deep glow, make it 0.3 and increase the spread. With colors, I tend to increase the spread a bit more because that color then spreads. So it makes it like feel a bit of the vibe. Now I'll paste the same thing, but I'll make the text above it 0.2 maybe. All right. So immediately, let's look at what we have. First thing, we have this part, which we did. Okay, and then the text goes down, and then we have, look, our work, you can see, is wiggling a little bit, and this has deep glow. So the scene already looks significantly better. Now I don't want to overwhelm it too much. This is pretty much all we will add on this scene. Let's say maybe I can do a bit of a thing on the text. Is this, I've been seeing a lot of people doing this on text nowadays, so maybe this makes it look a little bit better, but it's not any major difference. Now we come up over here, all right, and there is a zoom. Now this scene, I would have said for us to add like text or something, but just for the sake of it, I kind of don't want to add extra elements and keep it like natural to the actual video, actual remake that we're doing, and seeing how I can improve stuff. Okay, so this looks pretty decent, and I like how simple it is. But see, let's have a little look as what we have. So this comes up, the aesthetic text, and then we have this coming up. It is lagging, by the way, and then this comes up and we have a zoom. So it looks really nice, as of now. What can we add now in terms of effects to make this stand out? So for that, it will be a bunch of things we can add. First thing, over here, let's say I can add a bit of a burn effect. So I'll just search up burn. I have like this film burn, all right, and I will just make it minus 90 degrees, so it becomes like this mobile resolution, and I'll make it screen. So immediately off the bat, we have this little thing, but as you guys can see, it should be cut. Like these first few seconds are unnecessary, so cut this out. So it will start off with this burn, or actually I'll make it start off like this from here. All right, and you guys can see this will be the burn, and I will place this just for it to be there, and I'll do opacity from 0 to 100 real quick, or no, let me just make this in the middle, so it will immediately start with the burn. Cool, it immediately starts with the burn. Okay, so this is like a little burn effect, and again, to add like the look that we're going for, I will make it colorized, increase the saturation a little bit, for example, and then look for the color that we used, which was what? This one. It's this color. So now we have this burn. Boom. Cool. Amazing. Okay. First thing I'm gonna add is an effect called lens dirt, and it's a very known thing. It's not an effect, I mean overlay, and I'll make this 90 degrees. Okay, scale it up so that it fits. You guys can see it's a bit low quality. That's not a problem. So now we have this lens dirt, and then I make it add, for example, or we can make it lighten. Yeah, I can make it lighten. And this lens dirt adds this kind of a look. What I will do is I'll decrease the opacity to be -50. Alright, or sorry, be 50%. And then I'll add an effect called offset on it, and go to shift center 2 and add a wiggle. Or first thing, add push rise time. So I'll tell you, we're making a still image move, okay? I'll tell you how. And then add a wiggle, and the wiggle will have high frequency, and the amplitude will be 500, for example. So look at our lens dirt right now. It's moving. You can see it's moving. And if I put this in focus mode, you can see how it's moving. We need this to be even faster. Like I can literally make it 25 frequency. It's moving, and it creates this nice lens dirt effect or whatever it is called. But what I will do is I'll make this pop up a little bit later. So over here from 0, just delay this a little bit, and I can make this 3D. I'm not sure how nice it would look with 3D, but if we mess with it a little bit, I'm just messing with it like very I don't even know what I'm doing at this point. But yeah, very randomly, you guys can see. So it will like be in the background. It will not be like it's, you know, you can see how it looks like it's 3D-ish. That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. And I will add an effect called motion tile on it. If I add motion tile, and I make it 333 mirror edges, it will add it even in the other parts. So it will really blend in really well. So this is like kind of an effect we added right now, but let's see how it looks in full quality. Yeah, over at this point it is a bit noticeable. So what I will do is I will like just do a bit of tweakings with position and scale. Once we reach at this point, I'll make it move like this. And I will scale it down. It's very random, guys, by the way. I'll even decrease the opacity a little bit for it to be like 15. So it's not very noticeable. So you can see now it is like very in the background. So for example, this was one of the effects that I added. Very simple, you know, it's not complex at all, and it can be very random. The whole point of this stuff is randomness, guys. The whole point of this stuff is having randomness. I imported a little texture effect, okay, and what I will do first thing is rotate this so it's 90 degrees, and I think if we can add this texture on top of our stuff, it will look good. So obviously the texture doesn't make too much sense, but we'll make it make sense by adding curves. First thing, add curves, and then do a little bit of adjustments. But before the curve, we gotta tint it and then swap colors. So you can see now, this is what I'm talking about. Once I swapped colors, I will now do add. So it is adding onto our scene. And if I do lighten, no, we cannot do lighten. We don't want to do lighten. We can even do screen. So now I can pretty much decrease the opacity to be 20%. And you can see the texture is getting added in these places. Now I want to show you guys a certain thing that is crazy. Is if I add this text effect, you can see it will go out of our background. It will just go on our images and stuff, only on our layers. That's the whole point. It will only go on layers, and this is what I want. I don't want it exactly in the background, only on the layers. And now let's get the opacity like 30. And now I will add the exact same offset effect that we had. So add this offset effect. All right, over here obviously it looks mad weird, so I gotta adjust the offset a little bit by going in over here and making the wiggle maybe 10 only, so the corners are not getting fucked. Now look, you guys can see the texture that we have. The only thing is I don't want it to be added in this part. I want it to start popping up like over here. So I will do opacity from 0 to 100 from 0 to 30 at this point. So over here the texture starts coming up, so you guys can see the texture is starting to show up with the lens dirt as well, looking really nice, amazing. So this was like for the texture. Now we need a certain background. We need a background and we need a couple final things. I know I'm overcomplicating all of this that I'm adding, but I'm just adding all of this so you guys can see like how these final tweakings are done. You get me, guys? Like you guys now learned what a wiggly is. You guys learned how to make, you know, the scribble thing. You guys learned how to add this lens dirt. So I'm just trying to add more details and more details for you guys to understand how this stuff works. So I have this little background effect, and what I'm gonna do is put it behind everything. All right, and I'll do 3D over here at this point, so it even goes behind our video. And so what I will do now is scale it up this much almost, and you guys can see I will pull this a bit up, and I will add an effect even called motion tile, make it 333 whatever. It is already a moving text, moving background. I'll make this background around 30%. So now I added this background. I just think it's a bit high though. It's a bit high. So I'll just make the opacity like 10, literally. So it's so much in the background, you know, rather than it being right out visible. So, okay. I think this is the final of what we will have. All right. He even has a bunch of particles and stuff. But anyways, this is what we have. You guys are seeing already. PC is kind of dying from all this. The first thing now I want to do is add an adjustment layer. And in this adjustment layer, I want to add a camera lens blur. And I will take it below everything except for this part. All right. So now this camera lens blur, what happens is that it will go from 0 blur to around 5 over here, just for the sake of like the focus point or whatever you wanna call it. I'll make it 8. So now the background becomes blurry. As you guys can see, basically this, especially this, is gonna start becoming blurry. Let it play. Let's see. You will see now it will start becoming blurry once we are zooming out. Perfect. Amazing. It has become blurry. Now I'll just pre-compose everything. Once I pre-compose everything, I will first thing add an effect called flicker. Now flicker, unfortunately, I don't know if this can literally be added without an effect or no, but it will just flicker the screen a little bit. If you guys just see what the editor himself did, he added flicker and it's very less. So the flicker, I'll make the amplitude 0.1. So if it's not very important, this flicker effect, but if you have Sapphire plugin, then do add flicker, but otherwise you can just do it manually with a black solid layer. Basically what it will do is just flicker between 0 and 100. You guys can see there is a very less flicker. Focus over here, look at this few seconds, you can see there is a flicker. And so he added this flicker effect, by the way. And now we want to add CC vignette, an effect called CC vignette, for a bit of darkness around everything. Just decrease the angle, and increase the amount a little bit. But yeah. And then the last thing would be adding an effect called posterize time and make the posterize like 18 FPS. Alright. And then add another adjustment layer. And in this adjustment layer, add Gaussian blur. I'll tell you guys what we'll do over here. And this is something that you will never ever see anyone else teaching you. This Gaussian blur effect. But yeah, go to this pen tool and just do mask around it, around the scene, in a very random manner. It doesn't have to be specific, right? It can be very random, just like how you guys are seeing. Okay, that was a quick mask. I'll just fix this corner a little bit because it was shit. Okay, now just let's finish the mask up by just doing this. Boom. And now I will focus on the details, by the way, guys. Look at what's happening. Nothing, right? I mean, it's just literally, it's the inside is blurred. So look, focus, see what's happening. We have a blur on the inside and then no blur on the outside. So our first thing I want to do is invert this. So now we want the opposite. But once we do the opposite, there is a cut. So I'll go over here and add a feather. I'll add a feather and make it high feather. So see, now there is blur, but it's almost not blurry. So it adds this thing around the corners. You can see over here, it adds a really fucking nice look around the corners. So now if I play it, you can see even this over here, the corners look really, really nice. It's like awesome. And in the same effect, you can add a couple other things. For example, let's say I don't want my margins to show from the corner. I don't know, for some reason. I can even add, for example, an exposure effect. And I decrease the exposure. If I decrease the exposure, see what happens. This is what happens. For example, the corners will be darker. And it will only be for like when layers come up. And it create, but this is like CC vignette. But anyways, I'll just remove this. And you guys can see, this is pretty much what we have. There's one last thing that I want to do for this scene specifically, because this scene looks awful in my opinion. Or not awful, I mean like it looks empty. So over here I want to add the film grain. Alright, film grain, make it 90 degrees and make it add. So now over here there'll be a film grain and it will pop up like right on this scene. But the film grain is too fast, so we gotta add push rise time and make the film grain like 12 because it's too fast. Right now the film grain will be slower. So I added the film grain. One thing you guys can see, if the cut should be more abrupt. So I will just do a cut like this. Nice, cool. So you guys can see now we have a cut. But over here I want to add a shake effect. I want to add an impact, okay, for this thing. So let's add an impact shake effect. So I have a preset for this, and this preset is for Editors League users, to be honest, but I'll give you guys the settings. You just add a slider control from 0 to 58 or whatever, like whatever the number is. I can make this 60 if I want to make it harsher. And then we have the position, which is linked to the slider control, okay, with a wiggle. And now you guys can see this is how it is with like the impact. And if I go on the outside, it will look nicer because of the push rise time. So with the push rise time, it looks nicer. But the only thing is it is a bit too much. So I'll make this maybe 40. Adjust the slider control to be 40, literally. So now the impact is significantly better. So this is what we have as of now. I'm not sure if we'll be adding more things, but I think this will be our final version, most probably. I mean, I could add, you know, a bit of impact or a bit of more things in the sort of particles and whatever, but I don't want to overwhelm the scene too much. Like, this looks pretty nice in my opinion. It looks pretty nice. If you guys want, we could have added a bit more details and whatever, but the remake is like literally just like this. We can always add more details if we want, in terms of like, you know, a better background and whatever, or text effect over here, but it all depends on the voiceover as well, right? Over here we don't necessarily have a voiceover. You know guys, I have a little idea. Over here, what if I make like a certain shape layer that will kind of look like it's in the background, just for the sake of depth. So let's say if I go to stroke and I make it white, okay, something that is very simple. Go to stroke, make it white, make it 10, and just add the stroke like this over here, right? Increase the stroke in this way, add a bit of this. I'll add a bit of effect called, first thing before that, I'll just make this 3D and then bring it up over here, fix the position again, fix the position, the rotation, whatever, make it look like how it should be. And then add, for example, a wave warp. With the wave warp, increase the width by a lot. So I'll tell you guys why I added this. It is for the sake of something called depth, and I will explain this a bit more. But okay, let's increase the width a little bit more. And over here, I will first thing add gradient ramp. And this gradient ramp, I will adjust it so that it's like this. And I will make this part the color that we had as the color theme, which was this color. And I will add now an effect called add grain. Increase this to 1.8. So this is the settings for the add grain, and I added curves, by the way. The curves is like this. So it's very substantial curve. And then I will make an effect called, what is it called? Gaussian blur, for example, and add the Gaussian. Now look, it looks like it's in the front. It is for depth. Like, it's literally just not gonna show once the zoom happens, but it's gonna show very less. And what I will do is I will make this even more in front and then decrease the size. So look, it's just for the sake of depth. You can see it looks like it's in the front. Doesn't make that much sense, to be honest, but if we added this with like a text effect or something, or sorry, we made this text instead of a shape layer, would have been better. But anyways guys, I think this is our final output. I hope you guys enjoyed the remake done. I think this shape layer is kind of ruining it, so I'll just be removing it. And yeah, I think that was pretty much it for the video guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. By the way, I did a lot more remakes in Editors League, and again, the Black Friday is not going to be there forever. It's only going to be there for the next 3 days. Black Friday deal. So join Editors League before it's too late. And to be honest guys, I'm just to be transparent with you guys, I'm trying to build the best product in the market. Whether you want to join or no, it's truly a matter of your choice. But my intentions is building the best product in the market, better than any other community. It's already outstanding like 99% of the communities. There is maybe like 1-2 communities that might be somewhat, I don't know, have more engagement or more users, but in terms of product, I have the best product. So if you guys join, you're not gonna regret it. And yeah, if you guys want to know more information about it, you get everything. If you guys want to know more information about it, the first link in the description, click there and you're gonna know whatever you need to know. yeah, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.